pop involved.
Yeah, man, I
that
knew
too.
I liked you for a reason, young man.
Dallas, Philadelphia, Joel Embiid and Luka Doncic. Let's just say one guy on, one guy off. And the rookie sensation, off. Ben Simmons, good defense there. Then Luka, trying to shoot over Embiid, not so much. Doncic, 4 for 16, 1 for 8 from three-point range, just 14 points.
And when you're a rookie, you're going to have nights like that sometimes. It's part of the growing process.
The on switch for Ben Simmons.
Normally Ben Simmons is finding people. This time he's the recipient of a nice lob pass in transition.
And this has been good for him, working out in the paint, going with the right hand.
But just being able to take shots in that paint and find a scoring area is huge for the next step in Ben Simmons' game.
Simmons gets an assist there and another one here. 20 points, 14 rebounds, 11 assists for Ben Simmons. 6 triple-double of the season. That's second most in the NBA. J.J. Redick with 20 points on an efficient night. The Mavs, they get back into it, though. DeAndre Jordan, hello. Then Doncic, one of the shots he makes is a good one in the paint and one.
Nice post up in there. Find that paint. Good things normally happen when you do that.
16-5, Dallas run. Fourth quarter,
Oh, that's a nice pass right there by Dennis Smith Jr. Powell finishing strong.
it's the Sixers that close it out. Embiid, too big. 25 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists in the victory.
Griff's second favorite player.
Luka the Don.
Luka the Don. Is that a thing now? Is that what we're going to start calling him? Luka the Don?
That's what I hear tell. I'm just playing along, but right on the heels of your Godfather reference, it seemed fitting.
Well, Jimmy Butler missed a second straight game with an illness out of that lineup. So when we look at Jimmy Butler, what's going on there, this week makes a comment about not being involved enough in the offense and sits out 2 straight games. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Did he sit out or is he injured?
Illness.
Okay.
Well,
illness.
Injured.
Well, I mean, when you say sit out, it sounds different.
Well, he challenged head coach Brett Brown, okay, and officially it's an illness. But what we see in that situation, another place, Jimmy Butler, another problem.
Yeah, this is the third stop. And in Chicago, there was a little bit of a rift with him and Hoiberg. And then we got to Minnesota. We all saw how that played out. He didn't get along with Karl-Anthony Towns. You had to dust up with him and Tibbs and that whole fiasco with the front office. Okay, that's your second chance. We'll give you that. Now you get to Minnesota. Now you get to Philly. It's only been there, 6 weeks? And you're already challenging Brett Brown, your role in the offense, where you fit in on this team. And Jimmy's too good a player to get caught up in these type of things. He's going to earn himself a negative tag. And tags, as you know, David Griffin, are very hard to shake in this league, especially when you're a free agent. You don't want a negative tag. You want to be doing everything possible to gain positive equity. It's like Jimmy Butler does not care and is going the opposite direction. There are going to be a lot of franchises that might be scared to give him the big $200 million payday that his game probably deserves, because you have to be worried about how he's going to act. Money just makes you more of what you already are. And right now, Jimmy has not been the best teammate at some of these stops, according to other people in these reports.
Well, one of the labels that's also been placed on Jimmy is warrior competitor. And he runs hot. And it's what you've come to expect from him in a lot of ways. It doesn't work always, as we've seen in 2 different teams. And what I think Brett Brown said was important when he said it didn't cross the line. If it was, I would have acted on it. I think he and Jimmy had an understanding already that Jimmy was this way. And Jimmy probably wants him to come back just as hard at him. I don't like that it happened, but I dislike more that it got out, because that's more revealing to me of something internally there where people are willing to roll over on that situation, and that's a real problem. Because when it comes time to win at the highest level and the expectations that team had, I think everybody was straining under the weight of those as well. It's really, really difficult to win at the highest level when you're not all pulling in the same direction. So if Jimmy's not, it's going to be incumbent upon them to act on that one way or the other.
What's this team's record again?
25-16, right? 26-14.
25-16, and you're worried about
26-14.
26-14, doing quite well. You worry about your role on the team and how you're being used.
Not concerned with the right
very
things, no
telling.
question.
Very telling.
Well, we know Anthony Davis's role, and that's rolling to the rim and rolling to wins in Cleveland.
He's wearing a Nuggets jersey?
Bird box.
Into the offense. Boy, it's a shame, Brendan. I feel bad.
But still, in his last 13 games, James Harden's still averaging over 40. So the average doesn't take that much of a dip when you score 38.
Well, when your most efficient offense for a month in the NBA is all one player and handling every single responsibility in the absence of Chris Paul, it doesn't diminish anything he's done, certainly, by any means. But this is a really big win for Portland. Portland gets what they needed from Nurkic again tonight. He's starting to develop into that consistent third option for them.
I can't even tell you what Portland was doing tonight because I was focusing strictly on James Harden down the stretch of this basketball game.
At least you're
US
being
dollar.
honest. No, well, you say Nurkic, okay, is averaging 22 points, 12 rebounds over his last 5 games. And we always talk about Portland, Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum. Do they have a third person they can rely on? We're seeing it 6, 7, 8 games in a row now from him. Do you trust him to do it for longer stretches, or is this just a good run from him?
I think I trust him to do it on the offensive end a little more than I do the defensive end. And where they're going to continue to grow and evolve is their ability to lock down on that side of the ball. Because they're so small in the backcourt, they need their length in their wings and Aminu and Mo Harkless to be there for them. And they really need Nurkic and Zach Collins to continue to grow.
I just want to know who's going to step up and be the third guy from a perimeter standpoint. When I think about this Portland team, I know what they can do in the regular season, and we saw it a lot last year. But the difference was in the playoffs, I watched the Pelicans really spend a lot of time putting 2 on the ball as far as attacking C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard and Aminu, Harkless, Evan Turner. Those guys couldn't hit enough shots to get Portland out of that trapping style defense. And I have a feeling that type of style defense will be played against Portland sooner than later, especially when we talk about winning time this season. Does Portland have enough perimeter scoring to get them out of that?
You mentioned hitting shots. How about an NBA record set tonight between the Golden State Warriors and the Sacramento Kings? Most three-pointers in a single game between two teams. And they hit 41 three-pointers. Steph Curry, 42 points.
Chef was cooking it up tonight. 42, 14 to 26. I know Griff loves that efficiency.
Fun to watch, too. The way they were getting him the ball, letting him rock out a little bit, letting him take some step-back threes. And then they returned to form a little bit in terms of their ability to move the ball. Klay Thompson, again, looking good, coming off of screens, looking more like himself.
Steph Curry with 10 of those three-pointers, past Kyle Korver, 4th most three-pointers in NBA history. When you play like that, you do the interview after the game. So this is the second time in a month in which we've seen the Golden State Warriors give up a ridiculous amount of three-pointers to a team and still win the game. Sacramento shot 55% from three-point range, hit 20 of them in a game. Against the LA Clippers last month, they shot 75% from three-point range. Golden State still pulled it out. It's just miraculous the way they're able to win games.
It is, and I thought it was interesting when they started the interview, she asked what was said between you and Steve Kerr. I looked real quickly at Steve Kerr's career three-point shooting numbers. Here's a guy who led the league one year at 50.7%, led the league at 52.4% one year, played 16 seasons in the NBA, and in, I'm going to say, at least 7 of those seasons, did not make 41 threes in the entire season. Those two teams combined for 41 threes tonight. So I'm sure that was the little nugget he shared with Steph Curry. It's amazing to see that. But the way the game is played now, and without them having a real rim protector, without JaVale McGee, without Damian Jones, they're flooding the lane to try to protect the paint, and that's making getting out to cover the three-point line much more difficult.
Yeah, when you don't have that big man in there that does those type of things, it does make it harder for you. And you have to basically find a different way to play defense. And that different way has left the Golden State Warriors a little bit more vulnerable. And then at the offensive end, on nights where Klay Thompson isn't hitting or Draymond Green is a little bit lost offensively, sometimes that ball can get to sticking because that's when Steph or that's when Kevin say, hey, I'm just going to try to go into ISO mode. And that's kind of not the way that Steve Kerr wants his team to play. He has fought tooth and nail to get them out of ISO mode. So we've seen some chinks in the armor with Golden State, but tonight I think we saw the best of what, not the best of what Golden State can be, but they reminded us who they were. Excellent night shooting the ball. 21 of 47 from three. That's absolutely smoking.
And think about what you said, the best of what Golden State can be, and Sacramento was right there the entire time.
This young team is coming.
Oh, it's incredible. The strides that team has made, remarkable.
They have good young players in place. They're heading in the right direction. I remember when they traded DeMarcus Cousins for Buddy Hield, and I thought to myself, wow, that's a mistake. And now you see with the way Buddy has grown and the way the culture of this organization has changed, with Buddy Hield and De'Aaron Fox leading this young nucleus, things are headed in the right direction.
Yes, something to keep an eye on, too. Warriors still struggling to find bench points, just 19 points off the bench, where Justin Jackson had 28 points off the bench for the Sacramento Kings. That's really a way that they stayed in this game down to the wire. Kawhi Leonard leading the charge for the Toronto Raptors against the Milwaukee Bucks. What a front court. What a night. A game you saw right here on NBA TV.